Hey, welcome back. Episode 7. We are going to take what we learned last time to the next level. Let me refresh your memory. Last time, we learned a bunch of stuff. We learned how to make 2D arrays. We learned how to create a sprite. We learned how to render the sprite. We also learned how to take a one-dimensional or like a normal array and put characters in it that control the rendering. So taking it to the next level means we're going to take that 2D array concept that is like this, and we're going to use that to control the rendering. We're also going to learn to create random numbers, and we're going to randomize the data in that 2D grid, which will drive the rendering. So it'll all be randomized. Anyway, I think you're going to love it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. So I don't know if you noticed the pattern here, but we're playing in console, but then finalizing things in this snippet. So let's go ahead and do some housekeeping here, some code organization. I'm going to create a setup function. And we're going to put anything like initialization stuff, getting everything ready, that goes in setup. So the first thing I want to do is I want to clear out the render portion, the browser. I'm leaving a little note here so I can remember later what this does. Okay. Now I want to grab some code from console because that's where we were playing around. And now that we have it kind of finalized, I want to go ahead and put it in the snippet so we don't lose it. Leaving a note for myself and for other people. I wonder if we really want it to be that big. Maybe a bit smaller. And I need that base 64 string, that thing. That's the actual data that draws the tree. Okay. Leave a note for myself again. Hey, when you do get that base 64 string, make sure it says data::image /PNG in the front of it. If it doesn't have that, it won't work. Just a little after the fact tip. All right, we may need a blank image, but I'm not sure. We'll just go ahead and declare it here just in case. Chrome puts a border around an image if it doesn't have a source, so that's kind of annoying. I don't think there's a way to get rid of it. But we probably won't even use that blank. We'll see. I want to standardize the sizing. Because we have 50/50 copied all over the place. Why not just write it down one time in a constant variable? We'll have size X, size Y. And this makes it really easy to change the sizes because you just change it in one place and then everything will change automatically. I'll show you. Hold on. I want to copy all of this container stuff into the setup first. If you remember, the container is where we're putting the trees. We're no longer putting them in the body. We'll put them in a container, which is a div, and that way we can center them and make it look nicer. That's from a previous episode, maybe 3, I can't remember. Yeah, you could call the container a canvas. It's where we're working. We're going to work inside of that box. Okay, so now see size X, size Y. We can replace all of our hard-coded sizes with these variables. All right. So when we run this little snippet, it's going to automatically call setup. Because when you declare it, when you make the function, it doesn't actually run it. You're just teaching the computer how to do something. If you actually want to run it, you've got to call it, like in line 46. So we're creating a function to render the grid. What we're going to do is we're going to have this 2D array, two-dimensional array called grid. And then everything in the grid we're going to draw out, we're going to render out to the browser. Let's go ahead and add the grid here at the top. I could just copy paste this, but I'm retyping it because I think it'll help you remember it better if I retype it all. Okay, so how the render is going to work is it's going to have two loops, an outer and an inner. But I'm not going to call them outer and inner. I think it'll be less confusing if I call them Y and X. I'm referring to what we're going to call the index variables. So the outer one will be Y, and then inside we'll have an X. All right, now what are we going to do here? This is where we're going to append a tree to the body. Okay. Leave a little note for myself. Okay, there's some logic we need to make that actually work. So we'll check the grid at the Y coordinate and then the X. And then we're going to see if there's a, let's say a T there. Oops. We'll do T for tree, because we might want to put other things in the grid. We don't want to just have X's and spaces. So T will mean tree. Actually, that was a bad idea. Let's go ahead and make a function that does this for us. We could reuse this. It'd probably be smarter just to copy, paste, and modify. So what do we need and what do we not need? We don't need to create an element, a div. We don't need to set the width and height. We don't need a border. We do need... Do we want to create it here? We already created it at the top. Okay, let's make the one at the top in the setup function. We'll call that tree template. And then we can just clone the tree template anytime we want to use it. Okay. We do need position absolute. That lets us place it anywhere we want. Actually, I wonder if we could just put that up with the template. I think we can. That way we don't have to do that every time we clone it. Okay, cool. Leave a little note. Okay. Nope, that's not right. Add tree, that's where we are. Okay, so we want to set the position, so there we go. And then we will append the tree to the container. I think that's all we need. Okay. Okay, we need to save it and run it. Okay, let's go ahead and test this thing. So if we add a tree, which is our new function at 0, 0, there it is. Awesome. If we add one at 19, 0, perfect. What if we try to add one in the bottom right corner? That would be 19, 19. Perfect. Great, it works. Add tree works. Let's put one close to the middle. Scroll up. Okay, there it is. Great. So you'll notice that when we put things on the screen, it's X, Y. But when we put things into the grid, it's Y, X. It's a little confusing. I don't know how to get around it. It's just the way it is. I want to make the background color black because that just looks better in my opinion. Awesome. Oh, wow. Look at that. That looks really good. Okay, we really want to render from the grid. So theoretically, we should be able to set any of these blank spaces to a T, and it should show up in our canvas up there. Right now, render grid shows nothing because there's nothing in it except for spaces. So let's set, oh, wait a minute. That's wrong. Let's set down 1 over 11 to a tree. T is for tree. Oh, cool, it worked. Right where we want it. Ha, I can't believe it worked the first time. All right, I want to put the trees on this grid randomly. So let's introduce a new concept, math.random, and look what it does. It returns a number between 0 and 1. Well, that's not really helpful, is it? But if we multiply it by 10, then it's going to give us a number between 0 and 9. Or actually 0 and 10. But not actually up to 10, just up to like 9.99. Let's take off all those decimal places. We just want the whole number. Okay, so we're getting random numbers 0 to 9 now. But our grid coordinates are not 0 to 9. What were they? Were they 0 to 50? Wait a minute. Okay, so now we're getting numbers that are more useful. Let's go ahead and copy this. So when we build our trees, we're going to insert trees into the grid at random. We'll do 20 trees randomly. Leave a note for myself. Let's make it 100. Now let's get a random y coordinates. Oops. Let's go back to console where we were playing around and get our code for that. Okay, so 0 to 49 for the y, 0 to 49 for the x. Now we'll access the grid at y, comma x, or y first, then x, and we'll set it to t, which matches line 65, where we're checking for t when we render. Let's build the trees. Now let's render the grid. Wait, let's look at the grid first. Cool. There's some t's in there randomly. That's what we want. Okay, now let's render it. Oops. Crap. See how some of the trees are rendering outside of our canvas here? I think I did something really wrong. Oh no. What do you think I did wrong? I think I know. Oh no. You know what I did wrong? I conflated icon size and canvas size. Right, the icon size is how big are the icons, and the canvas or the grid size, that's different. It's like how many positions are there to put the icons. Oh no, I gotta change a lot of stuff. See how fast I can do it. So I had size Y and size X for everything, but now we've got to have icon size X, icon size Y, grid size X, and grid size Y. Okay, yeah, the grid is going to be grid X and grid Y. All these rendering things, those are probably going to be icon size X. Icon times grid for the positioning here. It's a little confusing. I got to think about some of these. I think it's icon size X for the left and top positions. Yeah, because we're multiplying by X and Y. Okay. Okay. Did I miss anything? Oh, yeah. Okay. Grid size X, grid size Y, grid size X. Okay, let's see if it works. Gotta remember to run it. Okay, build the trees. Okay, good, look. all inside our canvas here. Perfect. Okay, I want to test building trees multiple times. Let's build the trees. Run to the grid. Let's build the trees again. Render the grid. Now it should wipe those out. It didn't. So we got to figure out what's wrong here. I think there's probably a couple things wrong. Okay, when we build the trees, I don't know. I'm wondering if we should initialize the grid there, but that doesn't make sense. Because what if you want to build the trees twice? Maybe we should create a new function to reset the grid. I think that's the best idea. Okay. And we'll take this grid initialization code out from the very top and we'll put it in here. And you'll have to run this every time you want to reset everything. Let's try it. Can't forget to run your snippet after you change it. Okay, there's the grid. That's what we've got. What if we do reset grid? Should clear it out. Let's check it. Oh yeah, all clean. All right, I'm going to show you what semicolons are for. Check this. I can run 3 commands on a single line if I put semicolons between them. I'll put one there too, just for fun. Okay. Let's look at it. Let's run it again. It should clear everything. It didn't. So there's another problem. Because we saw that it's clearing the grid. But when we run those 3 commands again, it still has too many trees. Let's check the grid. Let's do it again. Let's check the grid again. Okay, yeah, look. The grid is fine. There's empty spaces there, but there's trees that are rendered. I think I know what the problem is. Just because we clean the grid doesn't mean the renderer gets, or the rendered output is clean. We need to clear that out too. So in our render function, let's just go ahead and blank out the container. Let's clear this. All right, let's run it again. Our 3 commands. Oh, there we go. Okay, please work. Yes, it worked. Look at that. Ha ha. Cool. A randomized tree map.